Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 69 of the GVGCast. And I don't even have to say nice because we already had someone do a super chat doing that for us. So right off the bat, thank you to RecBCQ with $2 saying nice. Thank you so much for that. I am your host for today, Ash Paulson, and I'm joined by my good friend and GVG co-founder, Derrick Bittner, as well as our amazing art director, Daniel Alba, and I'm so glad to finally be back in the host seat after like 3 weeks away. I've been traveling and doing all sorts of stuff, so I'm back. Guys, how's it going?
Daniel, you want to start?
I see both of
us trying to start. Nope. Yeah.
I'm doing good. I'm doing tired. I spent the majority of the beginning of last weekend up till now working on a video, which is on the channel now. It's the longest video I've done. It's the best video I think I've done on this channel, and really I'm glad it's out there. I hope you all have seen it because it took a long time to do. I just talk about pictures and text for a long time, but I think it's worth it. I honestly didn't play too much other than like our game club game, which isn't even a lot to say.
I know. This week. I gave you like the shortest game club game ever. Well, I gave you. I now have a choice.
But yeah, most of my week was just playing other things like on stream, and just doing reactions as well during this week. It was kind of busy, all things considered.
Yeah, a little bit of everything this week. It really feels that way. For me, kind of the same as Daniel. I've just been trying to get things going. A lot of just scheduling because I want to, we have the common joke, and then it's not unfair of like, I hope this series lasts more than 2 episodes. No, I want Game Club going. I have guests up until episode 4 all set to go and plan to go even further. So
nice.
I have plans. That's going to keep going. And yeah, just me trying to get to another short video before I return to starting on more research for the next section of the retrospective. Speaking of which, if you haven't watched part 2 of the Zelda retrospective, you should do that. Although I expect most people watch this have already watched it, but watch it again. Why not? Make me feel better, because these things are they're rough, but otherwise
they're a lot to put together.
Yeah. Otherwise, kind of the same as Daniel, I played our Game Club game this week. I did my typical stream games, which, hey, I started Metroid Prime Remastered as part of that, and
nice.
Damn, that game is gorgeous and smooth, and like, holy hell.
Isn't it?
It is the definition of how a remaster should be done. It is so well
impressed.
done.
That's nearly a remake.
Yeah.
Certainly, if you haven't checked out, both of your latest videos, Daniel, you have your awesome video going into the design of Nintendo logos, and Derrick, you of course had your Zelda retrospective part 2 going up, and I had a video go up last week in which I discussed the future of Smash with Daniel right here, as well as our good friend She Says from Boundary Break. So if you haven't checked out all 3 of those videos, please do go check them out right now. Well, not right now. After the show. After the show, not this very second.
You can't miss the nicest episode. We're
going to be so nice to each other tonight. It's you won't believe it.
Exactly. And speaking of nice, I've gotten to do a lot of traveling lately. The reason I haven't been here for a little while, at least in the hosting seat, is because a couple weeks ago I was in Florida for Tampa Bay Comic Con doing a convention appearance with my dad where we did a panel and everything. And then after that, the week before that, I was in San Diego Comic Con and meeting up with some of my old crew members from Udon, back where I used to work. And then just last weekend, I was in Evo. As those of you who watch the show weekly know, I actually did get to join in on the show from my hotel room at Evo, but I didn't get to host, of course, because hotel internet sucks and I didn't have my webcam with me. But I'm back home now until PAX. PAX is only, 3 weeks away now, PAX West, and Daniel, you and I will both be there. We're having a whole GVG community meetup, as always, so that'll be super exciting when we get there. But that's still a couple of weeks away. You know what's right now, what's current, what's the hotness? Our sponsor, the Game Orb. And the Game Orb is, as always, a YouTube channel that brings commentary and gameplay footage from the Nintendo Switch and Xbox Series X gaming systems. He's recently started streaming on Twitch as well, though, but it'll take some time to get into that groove and add new Twitch elements over time. And while it might not be for a while, the VODs for his Twitch streams will also be available to watch on his YouTube channel in the future. So his current goal is to not only reach affiliate status, but to do it before TwitchCon in October so he can have the affiliate name on his TwitchCon badge. So if you want to support him on Twitch along with his YouTube channel, we've got links to both in the description. So as I always say, He has been supporting us from the very beginning of GVG at our highest Patreon tier. We cannot thank him enough. So please go subscribe to his YouTube channel, like his videos, and of course now go sub to his follow it, sub to it. He's on Twitch. He's doing a lot of cool new stuff, and we want to give him as much momentum as we can right out of the gate. So thank you so much, The Game Orb, as always. And yeah, everyone watching, please go show your love. Yeah, as for other stuff, I haven't really been playing that much because I've been traveling, of course. I unfortunately feel like I came down with a little bug from Evo. I'm not feeling 100%. I'm trying to hide that as best I can. So I did the thing earlier this week where I'm like, okay, I finished all my work and, you know, I've had dinner, my wife's gone to bed. Okay, I'm going to stay up and get some gaming time in. But I didn't feel well, so I just passed out and I just slept, you know?
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried to start a little bit of Final Fantasy 16. I haven't made much progress since the last time I talked about it, but I have played more Xenoblade Future Redeemed, so I'm in chapter 4, so I'm getting there.
That's something I still need to go back to and finish. Right. I'm at the end of chapter 5, I think, or the beginning of chapter 6. I can't remember, but I'm pretty close to the end. Okay. Still, of course, chipping away at Zelda. I've got I'm about to do my 4th story dungeon, which for me is going to be the Zora dungeon. So I'm looking forward to that. And looking forward to Sea of Stars. Really trying to wrap up Zelda before Sea of Stars comes out later this month.
Good luck.
Yeah, and as Frequent Positron just said in our live audience chat, don't catch a deadly illness before PAX. I'm not. Don't worry. I have been testing for COVID. I don't have it.
I mean, I did hear Justin Wong got COVID.
He's not the only one. Yeah, there have actually been a few people from Evo who now said they have tested positive for COVID. Thankfully, I'm not one of them. I feel a little bit under the weather, but I have tested. I will continue to test, but so far, COVID negative. So hopefully that holds true in the next few days. But I will be good to go by PAX West. I promise. I wouldn't miss that for the world. So before we move on to our news for the day, we do have some super chats to go over. And of course, the first one I already opened the show with, which was just a big, fat, nice. But we got some more. So next up, we have Blaker36 with $1.99. Thank you very much. Everyone talks about 69, but no one talks about question marks. Is that showing up?
I don't even. It shows up properly. I don't even know how to put an upside down question mark.
I don't either, but yeah, there's an upside down question mark and a regular question mark, and I don't know how to otherwise pronounce that. Yeah,
good old Mexican question mark.
Right, but thank you for that super chat, Blake. Really appreciate it. Next up, we've got $2 from Kaiser the Fighter with another matchup question: Leo from the Ninja Turtles versus the Red Ranger from the Power Rangers. I'm biased as hell. It's Leo, so I'm biased. What about you guys?
What does the Red Ranger have in its versatility?
To be fair, I know very little about the Power Rangers and their individual abilities. Like, I know a lot about Leonardo, but I don't know.
I feel like most Red Rangers, I think, would be able to beat him.
Really? Hey, you know what?
So too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue because I have no knowledge of Power Rangers, basically. So I'm gonna dig in and say Leonardo because I'm biased. You can see my headgear here, but you know what? I could be wrong, and I'll let Daniel and Derrick speak for that because they have more Power Rangers experience. Were you about to say something, Derrick?
I was just trying to think. It was like I was about to say. I'm pretty sure they all got all the turtles got beat up by Batman. Their crossover movie. So I think.
True.
I'm pretty sure the Power Rangers are more powerful than Batman, but I mean, I might be wrong there. I don't know.
Fair enough.
It's all based on who's writing it. That's the real answer.
Exactly. Yeah. Next up, we've got $2 from A Drink to the Past. Still love that name every time I see it. Thank you so much. Saying nice, 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 nice.
And you
perfectly
just
stated.
Clip like crazy.
Sorry about that.
Perfect.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, A Drink to the Past. Next up, our good friend Goron Amber with $5. Thank you so much, Amber. Just wanted to share that a good friend of mine had been struggling with cancer the past several months, but just beat it. Such a huge relief. Awesome. Wow. Congratulations to your friend. I know, Amber, you DM'd me earlier saying you had some good news to super chat on the show later, and I couldn't wait to find out what it was, and you did not disappoint. I'm so happy for your friend. So please send them our love. Yes, please send them our love. That's awesome. Next up, Kaiser the Fighter is back with another matchup with $2. Thank you so much. Luffy from One Piece versus Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four.
Luffy.
It's gotta be Luffy, right?
It's easily easily Luffy.
Okay,
And the thing
that's what I
is, I'm
thought.
pretty sure on most days Luffy could beat him without his stretchy powers. Luffy's
Yeah.
just that tough.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I
His
thought.
his
too.
stretch powers just sort of augment him. That's all.
Yeah.
I could not escape seeing Gear 5 on my feed for
I mean,
those first few days.
Not caught up for it, but yeah, you cannot escape Gear 5. It's
Right.
yeah.
It was just everywhere.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with both of you. So yeah, well, that was a pretty solid answer. Next up, Jay Wesby65 with $2. That is not a name I'm used to seeing, Wesby. So thank you for being here and welcome to our audience. Asking us, who do you think would win, the Ninja Turtles or the Street Sharks? It's the Ninja Turtle. Are you really? It's got to be the TMNT, right?
I feel like the Turtles do have an advantage here just because they're a bit more cohesive unit and they're faster.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Sharks have definitely the power, but I think
they're ninja.
yeah, they're just
Street Sharks aren't ninja.
fast. Oddly, it's weird to say that turtles are faster than sharks, but there you go.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I watched a little Street Sharks back in the day, and nothing about them kind of stood out to me in a way that would make me think they would actually be a match for the Ninja Turtles.
You don't find them jawsome?
Yeah. I forgot about that, Jawsome. Wow, that brings me back to a simpler,
Man.
kinder time. Wow. All right. Next up, Laxnor with $4.99. Thank you very much. Recent video was great, Daniel. What is everyone's favorite video game logo or favorite logo in general? Oh my God,
I mean,
there's so much.
There's a
even
lot to
consider.
choose from, but the one that came to my mind immediately that I still find to be peak logo, and it's I can't think of anything that really tops it. The Sonic and Knuckles logo, which just
Oh,
this
that's
half
a really
Sonic
good
face,
one.
half Knuckles face. No words, anything like that. You just have those faces, and you know exactly what that is. That is iconic, in my opinion.
That's the best kind, where you don't need any
That's a
text. You
great
just
one.
see the imagery and the coloration, and you already just know what it is. That's what I keep saying for Smash Brothers logo. You see that cross, the circle with the cross, and you just know
Yeah.
right away, like with the Inklings reveal. And yeah, just something that immediately communicates to you. Those are the best logos, I think.
For me, I keep. I mean, there are so many I could mention, but I keep coming back to the Atelier series logos, which I realize is random because I've only played like a couple of the Atelier games. But they just announced a new one, and every time I see a new logo for like a new game announcement in that series, I'm always impressed by just how pretty they are, while also being very very obvious and clear to look at a first glance. But yeah, I'm gonna throw one out there for the Atelier series logos. They're really cool and they're pretty and colorful, and I like them.
That's why I
So-
threw one in the demonstrations I did in that
Right.
same video, Atelier logo. Yeah,
Yeah.
gosh, there's so many to choose from. I
There's
don't even.
a lot of Atelier games.
There
Yeah.
are there have to be over like what 10 or 15 at this point.
Try over 20.
We have over 20. Yeah, that's how
And that's
much
just
I know.
main
I've only
series.
played
I
a
think
few
there's
of
a
them.
bunch of spin-offs.
There's
Yeah.
so many.
Yeah. Next up, Behan with $2. Thank you so much, Behan. Seen Mutant Mayhem yet? Saw it Tuesday, loved it. Yes, I saw it opening night, and I loved it. There are a couple of things I didn't like so much, but in general, I had a great time, and I was so happy with how they treated the boys. Great movie. Have you guys seen it yet?
No, I want
I'm not.
to.
Not yet.
I mean,
Okay.
I didn't get to see Guardians in theaters. That's out on streaming now. I didn't get to see Spider-Man in theaters. That's out on streaming now. I don't know if I'll get to see Turtles. So we'll see.
Right. Well, we do have a couple more super chats that have just come in, but because we're on the turtle wagon right now, no pun intended, I'm going to go ahead and move us on to the news, and then we'll read out the rest of the super chats as we go on, as always. But speaking of TMNT, we have a trio of announcements related to the series that have happened all in 1 week. And I've been telling you guys, this has been the best time to be a Ninja Turtles fan because it's everywhere. We just got the new movie. And then, of course, at EVO earlier this week, we got the TMNT crossover with Street Fighter 6. And then a little later in the week, we got the announcement from the Fall Guys Twitter account that TMNT is coming to Fall Guys. And there's the main thing is happening. It just got announced today, but I want to talk about the first two things really quick. I was there at EVO, obviously, when this announcement happened live, and it was electrifying. What's a little bit less electrifying is the fact that the costumes are $15 each, and if you want
cost of those
everything,
are ridiculous. Like my
Reed,
God,
Reed,
especially
yeah.
for like creative character costumes. Like,
Yeah, on one hand, I'm really happy I haven't really started World Tour yet because I get to play through the whole thing as a Ninja Turtle. And I'm totally buying one of the costumes. I'm probably going to buy Donatello or Raph, one of the two, and I'm going to play through the whole thing in that costume, and it's going to be great because I don't like character creators. I can never make anything cool looking, and now I don't have to because I can just be a Ninja Turtle. But it is really a shame that the cost is crazy.
Even if you just want to have the bandana from the Turtles, that's $5. Yeah.
That's nuts. That does not make any sense. Way too much.
I've heard speculation that Nickelodeon's licensing fees were just huge, which is why Capcom had to do it. But I'm not sure if that's trying to get Capcom out of the crossfire because they've been doing so well lately. I have no idea, but it makes you very nervous about those costumes they revealed concept art for that we talked about last week. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's, I mean, you know, look, this was made for me. I'm in the audience, super hyped, like, oh my God, I don't care. I'm gonna buy every single costume. And I meant it at the time, not thinking that they would actually be priced at $15 each. So I had to walk that back. But I'll tell you what, when the Cap Jams band started playing the Ninja Turtles theme song, I was like, what's going on here? What are they just like celebrating the movie's release? Are they actually going to do something with SF6?
That song is in the game. You can have it play in the Battle Hub.
I did not know, and that's even better. Oh my God.
I think you get that for free. I'm not positive on that one.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, I get to play Stories or World Tour as one of the Ninja Turtles, and that's good enough for me. But I won't be buying any more of the DLC than that. We will be talking a little bit more about Street Fighter 6 a little later on. But also, we don't know when they're coming to this game, but there's a TMNT collaboration with Fall Guys, which is pretty cool. I still play it with my friends once a week. We still have a good time with it. And, you know, I haven't really bought any of the premium costumes so far, I don't think. But this is probably one that won't be quite as expensive that I might go for it. But this is just kind of emblematic of the fact that they're just popping up everywhere these days, and it's great to see. Daniel, did I cut you off
with anything?
I know that's true. Except Mega Man. No Mega Man Fall Guys crossover yet. Still waiting on that one. Daniel, did I cut you off earlier?
Pac-Man one was the last week. Last week? I think it was the week before. The Pac-Man costume was really funny. And then you can be Inky the Ghost, and if you wear the costume, the bean loses their legs, so they're just floating there like a ghost. It's really funny.
That's awesome.
I saw the Pac-Man costume playing the game last night, and it looks great. And of course now Mega Man has to be coming, right? Because we got the other two of the fabulous 3 third-party characters that debuted from Smash and Smash 4. We got Sonic, we got Mega Man or Pac-Man. Mega Man's got to be next.
Nah, I guess that's a more important one. We got Final Fantasy 14 characters.
I know, which that's also a thing too.
And then we got Final Fantasy 14 is putting Fall Guys into their game. So okay, sure.
I love it. It's so weird.
We're in the world of crossovers right now.
That's my best chance of getting Ash to play that game.
It is indeed. All right. Well, we do have one, and this is like the main TMNT story that I kind of wanted to talk about today, and that is that THQ Nordic had their announcement showcase earlier today, and we've known for a few months now that a game based on the Last Ronin comic series is in development, and that's really exciting. If you know anything about the Last Ronin, you're a TMNT fan, you know already what the potential is for a Last Ronin game. So we found out today that the publisher is THQ Nordic and that the developer is Black Forest Games. And they are the developers responsible. They're a German studio, I believe. And they were responsible for the Destroy All Humans remasters, the Jonas Sisters games, and wait for it, Bubsy the Woolies Strike Back. So it's still a few years off. I know, what a resume, right?
I never heard great things about the Giannis sisters, or however you pronounce it. And then it's like they got Bubsy, and it's like, oh, that's not good either. But I did hear decent things about the Destroy All Humans remasters, and that was their more recent game. So I'm like, hopefully we're on that end of things. But I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about the Last Ronin storyline other than just like one turtle survives and is trying to get revenge.
Right. And I will not say anything more than that. Chat, if you've read it and you know anything about it, please don't spoil anything. It's worth going into it completely unaware of what's going on with that story.
The biggest thing about it is it was actually, I believe, written by the original creators, correct?
Yes, they were. I believe they were involved. I don't know if it was written only by them, but I think they were co-conspirators in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so I wish Steve was also here to talk about this, because I know he's also really hyped about The Last Ronin, and I want to be excited, and I'm never going to be the kind of person who dismisses a development team's efforts out of hand. This could turn out to be great.
There were some developers that look like trash. Like, you look at their past back catalog and be like, I'm I'm not sure about this. And then they come out with the game and it's like, oh my God, this is really good. It's like they finally got that chance they were able to have the time and budget for. So hopefully this is one of those stories. But go ahead, Daniel. I feel like I cut you off.
No, was that, I don't know, I forget what the titles previous were that they made. Was that kind of like what happened with Mercury Steam? What did they work on before Samus Returns? It was Castlevania.
They worked on the Lords of Shadow games, but before the Lords of Shadow games, I think it was more minor indie stuff. I have to look it up. Go ahead and keep talking. I'm going to look that up real quick because I love Mercury.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was like a well-received game or if Lords of Shadow was like okay.
Lords of Shadow 1 sold very well. I think it was the best-selling Castlevania title for a while, but Lords of Shadow 2 had apparently issues with, I guess, with people. It didn't help that it was that midquel with Mirror Fate that sets up a lot of what Lords of Shadow 2 is all about. That being said, I really like Lords of Shadow 2. I consider that a top 10 Castlevania game overall. And I've played every game in the series, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you've always been a big Lords of Shadow fan, man. I remember you saying that a lot over the years.
Here's the problem with those games. They are boring as hell in the beginning. It takes about 5 hours until you reach these certain points, and all of a sudden they get hype.
Yeah,
but yeah, there are slow openings for sure.
The Twilight Princess effect.
So the big thing they did before Lords of Shadow, and this was like ages ago, they started off like a Windows and Xbox of American McGee's Scrapland, a Nokia game called Zombies, and then Clive Barker's Jericho on Windows in 2007. So nothing like trash, but also just nothing like that really stands out. And even beyond anything else between Castlevania and Metroid, it's their own project called Space Lords, and then they did a remaster of Scrapland. So yeah, mainly just the stuff we know them for.
Right. So, I mean, and look at where they are now. So, we certainly cannot judge a developer only based on its prior catalog of games. And as has been pointed out, the Destroy All Humans remasters were apparently pretty good. And I've heard good things about Jonas Sisters. I haven't played them myself, but I've heard good things at least. So, it's not exactly my first choice, and probably even close. Then, of course, THQ Nordic had the whole 8chan Q&A or Ask Me Anything a couple of years back, which was really embarrassing. So, not my first choice or even my second or third, but I'm still going to keep the faith that something good could come out of this.
Here's this Don Alpha Line. I was actually just about getting into this. I was looking at what they did. So Killer Instinct 2013. It was originally developed by Double Helix. They did it for the first season, and then they had to. It's like something happened where Iron Galaxy had to take over and pull up everything else. But when you look at Double Helix, it's a track record of like, Silent Hill Homecoming was their first game. Then G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. Green Lantern, The Rise of the Manhunters, and the Battleship tie-in game were all their games before Killer Instinct Season 1. And yet Killer Instinct ended up amazing. Even better, in my opinion, they're the ones that put out the 2014 Strider, which is an amazing game. If you've not, it's like $3 right now on Steam, I think. It is a fantastic Metroidvania if you've never played Strider. Or maybe it's $3 on PSN. Either way, it's $3 somewhere. It's really good.
Yeah, and all well said, Derek. So I think it's way too early to write this off. The game is still a few years away, so there's plenty of time for us to see how this is coalescing as they release the first trailer and stuff. But, also, again, another example, Sonic Superstars. It's being, principally made by Art Zest, which also made Balan Wonderworld. But in this case, we've got Sonic Team advising for Sonic Superstars, and I played it at Comic-Con. It feels great. So it is, to be fair, too early to write this off, I think.
Agreed.
So,
we just we got to wait a few years until we actually get some gameplay and see what it's all about.
It'll be a while. I'm going to keep my lean green hopes up until then, but yeah, we've got a few years to wait. But another big thing happened this week on the Pokemon front. Well, maybe not big. So I wasn't here for this. I had just gotten back from EVO late Monday night due to some travel mishaps that delayed our getting back home. And I was way too tired to be back up at 5:30 in the morning for the Pokemon Presents. So thankfully, you guys held it down. It was the both of you and John, if I remember correctly. And Derrick, I talked to you a little bit about it later in the day, and you were like, "Man, you didn't miss anything." I know roughly kind of what went down. I've read a recap, but Derrick, why don't you start us off here, man? Tell us about what you liked, what you didn't like, what if there was anything you liked.
Well, here's the thing. It's not like I wouldn't call any of the stuff here bad. It's just
Mhm.
all known. Nothing here was like new or exciting, and I think that's the biggest issue with it. Detective Pikachu Returns. It's a cute game. It doesn't look as good as the original, just because it was one of the best looking Switch 3DS games, as John said, but it's kind of like a mid Switch game, so it's not like standing out in the same way. But it could be cute. You have the fun writing with all that. You have the usual updates for all their mobile games and Unite and all that. And then we got the obvious look at the DLC, and the DLC looks solid. It's nothing really bad about that. There's nothing wrong with the DLC, and it's like it looks significantly more involved than what we got for Sword and Shield. But it's not new. It's not exciting, and I think the one thing that did feel new and exciting, even though we've already knew about that they were coming, was the fact that we finally got trading card game and Stadium 2 on the NSO. And that's
Right.
That's sort of where it's at. It's just like, I mean, we got a new trading card game based anime, which the first episode premiered today. Haven't got a chance to watch it, but it's like, okay, that's out of nowhere. But
That's out of nowhere,
new stuff you get is animated related, and that's the odd thing.
Right. That is kind of out of nowhere. Daniel, do you have any particular thoughts you want to share on Pokemon Presents?
I think Pokemon Presents gets too much hate. Like,
Okay.
it's supposed to, like, I know it's projected in a way where we expect like a direct announcement or a direct presentation where we get a bunch of games and news and such, but in its own vacuum, it's just meant to just be a bit of a little bit of everything, a celebration of what Pokemon is and for everyone. And I know, like, they started off with Pokemon Worlds Championship, which is happening right now. It is a big deal. It is a pretty big deal. It's just that could have been like its own little like Twitter video presentation sort of thing, like uploaded to Twitter. They had this just kind of tack it onto this to make it a 35-minute presentation. But at the same time, it's like it's showing us all this stuff that I can't do and can't go to, the majority of viewers can't really interact with, because it's already happening like right now. It's not like fly over soon to this at this date or whatever and you can be a part of this, and it's already happening. Sorry. But otherwise, like, they also show a lot of mobile games, which a lot of us here aren't really like. We hardly dip into maybe even one of those titles for I think a lot of people that are like you and me. It's a lot more of a casual presentation, honestly, when you're talking about this stuff, because things like the animations were probably the most exciting things that were announced, because I saw Path to the Peak. It's very cute. I really like that, because
I want to watch that.
It's I think the next episode comes out next week. I love the idea of the Pokemon trading card game kind of being something that these people kind of imagine in their head, so that when you start seeing it, it's like the Pokemon battle is playing like a traditional Pokemon battle, but obviously they're just playing the card game on the board. I think it's just a really cute imagination. Kids imagining what we felt it was like if we played Pokemon cards back then, or anyone that plays cards, honestly. And some love for Oddish. Thankfully, Oddish gets some love.
Oddish doesn't get a lot of love that often, so
Oddish always get love. Oddish is great.
I love Oddish, but yeah, that, and then the Paldean animation as well, guys. It's going to come out sometime soon, and those are always great. The ones that aren't the mainline anime, those are always so well done.
Moon Rhoda also kind of hits the nail on the head. I was thinking this as well, where if they hadn't teased that M and gave you the expectation of like, oh, it's a Mewtwo themed thing, and it's like, no, it's Unite, and you have this tie-in with,
it was just a Terror Raid.
So, yeah, Terror Raid. Okay.
Right. There was a big old fancy animation for it with Mew and Mewtwo, and it makes you think, oh, just like back in the Mewtwo Strikes Back movie, and then it's just a Terror Raid, honestly. And then you can get a free Mew. I got my free Mew right before the show. Its terrestrialization type is normal, and that's the most boring type I could have gotten.
That's a normal Mew. Of all the types you could have gotten.
Normal Mew. Naughty nature. So nice.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Perfect. Okay, that's topical. I like that. I have high hopes for the Scarlet and Violet DLC. As I've said, the storytelling at the end of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was some of the best ever in Pokemon, I think, and I want more Area Zero mystery. I want more of exactly that what we got at the end of the game. And maybe not.
Apparently, you might, because I think they did say after you do both adventures, like you get the hidden treasure of Area Zero, whatever that might be. I think there's like there might be like a little extra that happens after you finish both storylines. I'm not positive on that one. It just seemed to be what it indicated. And
they do tease. Yeah, they do tease Area Zero to be more explored at the point, at least towards the end of that presentation to both of them, because that section was like the best part of Scarlet and Violet, and it was way too short. It was just the ending and the wrap up of the whole game,
and it was so good too. It was so good, but way too short.
Yeah, it felt different. It sounded different, but hopefully, we'll get a lot more with that here. It at least looks a bit more ambitious. Like I know the Crown Tundra and the other place from Sword and Shield, like
the other place,
those were there's so many things. Isle of Armor, those two areas, like they're big areas, but this also looks pretty ambitious as well, and I want to see how it compares and stacks up once they're there, because it does look like there's at least a lot more story than those two DLC packs.
I've seen off my Twitter that people are big fans of the new photographer girl, which
I knew as soon as she showed up, I'm like, this is the one that's going to get all the fan art right now.
She absolutely has. She's a descendant of the one guy from Arceus. The one.
Yeah. From Pokemon Legends. They has the same like hairstyle, eyes, and everything. And that's Adaman. Yeah, that's a descent. That's cool that they're harking back to that title already.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
Speaking of new designs and new characters and such revealed during this Pokemon Presents, I want to go ahead and read off a super chat we just got by Kibbs McGibbs for $1.99. Thank you so much. Saying that long neck Raikou is so funny, though. And it is funny, because I would call it, I know it's Paradox Raikou, but I'd call it tall neck Raikou, because that thing is a dead ringer.
I made the joke. As soon as I saw Daniel offered up that fan art, the official art, I'm like, and saw that actually wrapped around its neck, I'm like, oh, I gotta, I have to do a post about this.
It is so obvious.
So on the world map of Paldea, the top corner has been missing this whole time. So if when I find Raikou and I climb on top of it, it's going to reveal that part of the map finally, so I can see just what that whole region looks like. It all makes sense now.
Exactly how that should go down. I would love that.
I forgot that Suicune got a Paradox? Paradox form too. I didn't realize that the other two had not in the main game. So Suicune was like raptor based, I think.
It looked more like a raptor sort of. Yeah, it was on his 2 feet.
Yeah. So
come on, Entei, show me something weird.
Entei's gonna be weird, all right.
Entei's got to be Entei.
It's gonna be long.
Got to be coming. Yeah. Long, you say? Nice.
Yes.
So I obviously, like I said, I read a recap, but I do still intend to go back and watch the presentation properly, or at least the Area Zero trailer, the DLC trailer. So I want to see what I'm looking at there. But anything else you guys want to mention about the Pokemon Presents before we move on?
Play the trading card game. Ronald is the best rival. Unfortunately, we don't have the sequel, so you can't see his full arc, but at least you get to see Ronald in his prime, where he's pretty much a Blue or Gary of the trading card game world.
Want jerk rivals? There you go.
There he is.
All right, well, moving on to our next little bit of news here, we have a blast from the past that is coming newly to the Switch and PS4, and that is, of course, the original Red Dead Redemption. It's coming to Switch and PS4 on August 17th, and it's going to include the Undead Nightmare DLC, of course. And it's $50. Physical version is coming out in October, and it's not a remaster apparently, but it does feature support for various new languages, so that's always nice. Accessibility is a great thing. But I've seen some mixed reactions to this about it not being a full remaster, and having not played the original Red Dead Redemption myself, I don't necessarily have a strong opinion on this, but I do know that obviously it's a beloved game, and so I think that even if it hasn't been remastered, isn't it a good thing that it's coming to Switch and PS4, thus being available to more people?
It's good that it's available to more people. I think it's the price point, because I saw somebody point out, you can get the original Red Dead, which isn't all that different according to this, on your Xbox 360 or whatever, included with the Undead Nightmare DLC for way cheaper if you have an Xbox.
Way cheaper. Yeah, so it's the price.
And that's why
kind
it's
of
not
the
coming
idea
to,
that I got.
and that's why we don't have an Xbox version listed here, because it is available to play in that backwards compatibility way. So Switch and PS4 owners are kind of out of luck. Now with Switch, at least you have it on mobile. You could take it with you if you'd like. But it's also like Rockstar doesn't have a great track record after Grand Theft Auto.
That is true.
So there's that as well. That being said, Red Dead Redemption is the only like GTA like from Rockstar that I've actually beaten. I really enjoy that game, but I probably won't pick this up until it gets way cheaper.
Yeah, I myself, were I going to play it, I would opt for obviously the cheaper Xbox version, and that's kind of that's kind of the idea I got when I was reading the reactions to all this. People were like, "Yeah, Red Dead Redemption. Oh, but it's not actually a remaster, and it's $50. What the hell, Rockstar?" So that's kind of where I figured we would land on it as well. It's a shame because if you don't have access to an Xbox, but you want to experience this, bona fide classic, you don't have any option other than to cough up the full 50. And as you said, Derrick, Rockstar don't exactly have a great track record with ports. So it's a little bit good, a little bit of bad. I guess it's probably more negative than anything, though, I suppose. I know that Steve is interested in taking a look at it and doing like a video about it on the channel. I don't know. He's in the middle of moving right now. Don't know if he'll get a chance to, but he did express interest.
Yeah, I feel like this will come and go. People will be happy, but I don't think there's other bigger games coming. It'd be nice for those who want to get that. Also, I think you revealed something that he hasn't revealed himself yet, Ash.
Oh, well, my bad. Who knows if he'll even get a chance to do it because he's going through a lot right now. But,
it's all right. It'll happen a bit later. But I did see something real quick. I've not watched any of it at all, but I did hear. I was talking to a friend about the fact that Quake 2 is getting ported for a much cheaper price, and Quake 1 remaster was excellent as well. Fun thing I did not realize is that Quake 2 has nothing to do with Quake 1.
It doesn't?
It's completely its own thing because they were basically making a other game, and they were going to figure out what they were going to name it, but then they realized, well, we could just call it Quake 2 and it'll actually sell better because of brand name recognition. So they did that. But this comes with Quake. This whole thing comes with Quake 2 64, as IH Dragon says, plus a brand new expansion that actually does help it tie in with Quake 1 as far as storylines go.
Oh, that's cool.
So
that's nice.
That's a good idea of a port. That's something that fans can enjoy, because all those weird 64 editions that it did available on Switch are available on modern consoles again. So there you go.
And honestly, that Quake 1 remaster was so well done. And come on, Derrick, I know you really just wanted to talk about this because you beat our asses.
You guys have never played again. Producer. We played it Quake
we need to play
one
again.
time. It was the first time I played, and nobody wants to play again just because I slaughtered everyone.
You know what? I'm down.
It's
only fair. It's only fair. We played GoldenEye for our last EP hangout, and I did pretty well in that. It is now time for the tables to be flipped, and for me to get my ass handed to me by you again in Quake. And we should do Quake 2. I'd be down for it. We have to have the EP squad approve it, but I'd be down.
And if you want to beat Derrick at Quake, all you have to do is join our Patreon at
patreon.com/dvgaming.
Exactly.
Anyway. That's cool for fans. That's a really cool thing, and who knows, maybe we'll get Quake 3 eventually at this rate.
Yeah. Well, we have one more news story to talk about today, and it does involve another game that we have played before with our executive producer squad, and that is going back to Street Fighter 6 briefly at Evo, right before or after the TMNT the TMNT collaboration. We got the first teaser trailer for the next DLC character coming to Street Fighter 6 Season 1, and that, of course, is A.K.I. And I knew what she was all about based on her on the leaked concept art that we got, but I was not ready for how creepy and intense that trailer was gonna be. Right?
That's good stuff.
I'm so excited just from the way she does that Samara crawl, the ring type crawl at the very beginning where she bends over and does this weird, and it just pops up in front of the player character, and that just makes me so excited to see what kind of horror inspired animations she has in the game itself.
It's a chance to do Fang right, because Fang sucked. But Aki looks awesome.
She looks really, really cool, and yeah, I mean, as you said, it's a chance to do Fang right. And Fang also is it Fang or Fong? I'm not sure, but either way, he had poison properties to some of his attacks, and I have to imagine that there's going to be some sort of similar thing going on with Aki, considering she's, yeah.
I saw an interesting suggestion from somebody, and who knows if it's actually really the case, but somebody suggested that rather than Aki attacking your health with the poisons, it attacks your drive gauge.
Oh, I like that.
And that seems interesting. That'd be fun.
I love that. That's a great idea. I hadn't even thought about that, but that would make sense. Or maybe she has two different moves that can do, either one or the other.
Who knows? It's hard to say, but I'm very curious to see how they, how she moves, how she looks, how she all comes about, because we get a bit of an idea thanks to her introduction within the story mode, but that's about it.
Right. So she's coming out this fall, so not too long to wait, and yeah, I think just that trailer alone, we're pretty excited based on that trailer alone.
How did Evo react to the Azucena Tekken 8 trailer?
So unfortunately, I wasn't in the stadium for that. I didn't see the Tekken finals live. Unfortunately, we were eating. So we saw the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 finals, saw a little bit of Guilty Gear, and then we're there for all of Street Fighter 6. But we missed Tekken, unfortunately, and I have already gone back and watched. My wife and I, when we got home, we watched the finals, the VODs. But yeah, we wish we'd been there to see the Azucena trailer live, because I love the design of that character.
She's all about coffee, too.
She's the coffee queen. She's already has to be my main. If I had a Tekken 8 main, it has to be her, because she's the coffee queen. Who else could it be, right?
Very, very true.
Yeah. So. Well, speaking of good vibes and speaking of nice, I do want to shout out Steve in our live audience chat here. He's not here with us for the show today, but the reason for that, as I mentioned, he's got a lot of stuff going on, and as he said in our chat, he bought a house. Congratulations, my man. You bought a house, and you're
getting
moving
out of the weird time zones of Arizona. Congratulations.
Exactly.
You can finally sync up.
Yeah.
I don't have to be like, what time is Steve on at this time of year? I don't know.
Yeah, so we are all, of course, everyone on the GVG team here is so happy for our compatriot Steve buying a house and, getting out of Arizona. I know he's very happy about that. And yeah, so even though you can't be here with us today, man, congratulations, and we are so happy for you. And just in general, it's been a bit of a tumultuous time for us here, right? Because John's been out with his new baby, Steve's been out with the moving process and buying a house, and it's been a little bit tough these past few weeks. So I'm really looking forward to our full crew being back in, being back in full.
September, Kai starts going to daycare 3 days a week. Not daycare, but like early preschool.
Oh.
So that's going to help me tremendously.
That'll help you a lot, I imagine. Yeah. So good stuff coming. It's been a bit of a rough August with various crew members being out and such, but we're going to be back in full in September and such. So very much looking forward to having the whole team back together. And as Steve said, he'll be in Washington, which means I might get to see him for PAX. Daniel, you and I both might get to see him for PAX in a few weeks.
Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah,
I certainly hope so. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and read out some more super chats before we move on to our Patron topics for the day. And first off, we have got Nautical Noe with $5. Thank you very much. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk releases next week. I cannot contain my hype. Same! I keep forgetting that game's coming out so soon, but I'm really looking forward to checking it out. Anything Jet Set Radio inspired is fine by me. I am really excited. Are you guys going to check this out?
Probably not, but I'll be keeping an eye on it just because time.
Same deal. Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm glad it's looking good. I just don't have the time.
I think I have to make it. It's because it's so rare that you get something Jet Set Radio inspired and something that seems like it does that inspiration very well. It's probably not something I'm going to be able to spend a lot of time playing through completely, but I feel like I have to just get a feel for it because I've been so excited about it, and it seems to really be so faithful about those Jet Set vibes. So I'm going to make some time for it just to at least check it out. But yeah, it's next week. It's crazy. Next up, we've got Ringo Dringo Caliarnto. Ringo Dringo Caliarnto with 500 yen. Thank you, Ringo. Derrick, your Zelda analysis was fantastic. I couldn't believe Miyamoto was inspired by the hit blockbuster movie Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Truly incredible. I wasn't aware of that either, Derek. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird how time works, isn't it?
Yeah, wild. Thank you for that, Ringo. Next up is Legend of Jess with $10. Thank you, Jess. Just saying, I assume you mean nice one. It says nice on, but I think you meant nice one. So thank you for that,
nice
Jess.
I'm
not. Yeah. Yeah, but thank you for that. And always great to see you in chat, Jess. Thank you very much. Next up, Jacob Tucker with $5. Thank you, Jacob. SNK All-Stars introduced a censored design for Mai Shiranui, and honestly, I could see that being her look in a future Smash Brothers game. Same. If Mai were to ever get into a future Smash game, that would probably be something akin to the design she'd use. But again, as Sakurai said, Smash is for good boys and girls, so I don't know that we'll see Mai in any form in a Smash game, but I'd be down. She's a cool character.
They censored Pyra and Mithra. They could do something.
That's true. That's basically what they did with. I just looked it up to see what it's all about, and like, no, that makes sense. She basically just gets like the gym shorts and whatnot, and gym shirt to just kind of cover her up. So that's honestly, I like that design. This is a good design.
I'd love to see that design get into Smash for sure. Thank you for that, Jacob.
Live audience.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be great for Smash. So
that's very tasteful. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Excuse me. Next up, we've got Story Smith with $4.99. Thank you so much. Going back to the Mr. Fantastic and Luffy matchup, making the point that Mr. Fantastic once invented a coma gun. Don't think Luffy wins this. A coma gun? I mean, I feel like I need to see this in action. That just sounds...
First, you got to hit him. Second, you got to, like... I'm sorry, I've seen Luffy shake off some wild crap.
Will that just bounce right off of his rubbery body or what?
Yeah. Like no.
It's just like...
I'm sorry. Okay. For those who don't know what Gear 5 is, I barely know what Gear 5 is, but I do understand the basic concept of somehow it allows him to become a Looney Tunes character. He gets cartoon logic as part of his fight set.
Right.
And that you cannot beat cartoon logic.
Right. I still think Luffy wins this, but I do appreciate the point brought up with the coma gun. Maybe it's a little closer than we thought, but I still give the win to Luffy myself. I think we all do. Next up is Lizard81288 with $2. Thank you so much. Asking if we have any thoughts on Square's profits being down by 65%. And this is a news story we almost had for as a topic for today, but decided to cut it in favor of some other stuff to keep the show moving. The main takeaway for me was that during that same earnings call, they talked about how they're going to be focusing more on AAA size games rather than mid-size games going forward, and I don't love that only because I want my Octopaths, I want my Bravely's, I want a Chrono Trigger HD 2D remake. So I don't love the news, but
I'm not sure what would have brought them down by 65%. Like, yeah, I mean that's the other thing with Caitlin. How about space out your releases? My God. Give people time to actually play your games.
That too. I mean, even earlier this year, Octopath Traveler 2 came out like a week away from Theatrhythm.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense. I want to play both, obviously. So, yeah, they could do a lot better scheduling out their releases for sure.
And yes, also, they did a Harvestella as well. Like that was right.
Yeah.
Like I did a whole video on how much crap Square Enix released in a single year, and I think it was like 35 games.
You did that video. And so Square, we want to play your games, including your mid-sized games. Just space them out a bit more, please. And also, thank you, DDog10132 in our YouTube chat saying, love the Ninja Turtle beanie, Ash. I appreciate it. I had to come repping one of my favorite turtles, obviously, for today. So thank you very much. Next up, Disney Duncan with $5. Thank you, Duncan. With Disney's recent movies not doing so well, do you think their company will die? No. Definitely not.
No.
2 points. One, Elemental is doing very well. It's like
I thought so.
It had a long tail and is doing that. 2, movies are like a small fraction of Disney's thing. The point of the movies is to get new characters to put in the parks and merchandise and stuff. The merchandising in the parks and all the other theming, that's where you get your money from as far as Disney making profits, and that is still doing extremely well.
Mm-hmm. And as Tunjay said, Guardians 3 did really well too. So,
there's the thing. There's a reason it works out that Disney targets kids because the nostalgia. I can tell you already from experience that Kai, I put on Disney Plus and Kyle watch a few Mickey things, and he knows how to say Mickey now. Like, he will say Mickey if he sees a Mickey thing he wants to watch. He actually really likes that new Silly Symphony short that combines with Steamboat Willie. So, yeah.
They're going to be fine. Disney's
they're not going anywhere.
By the way, Juan Delgado makes the point, a very important point to me, that that whole thing about AAA and a few AA games thing was false. That actually wasn't in their financial report, and that's something that I would have caught had we actually dug into it enough to do this on the show. So thank you, since that was brought up in a super chat, and I didn't get to find that out. Thank you for bringing that up. That makes me a lot happier knowing that actually isn't real. So
I feel like the mid-sized games is how you make a better profit. It's just like how you make a decent horror movie for 10 million and make 50 million off it. There's a 40 million profit. Maybe not massive amounts of profit, but still, that's a profit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Main big AAA games and then the mid-side games just sprinkled within, and that just seems like a more healthy balance than packing them all in at once at sometimes.
Exactly. Next up, we've got $4.99 from our friend Caroline Sweet. Thank you so much, Caroline. Just sending some good vibes to the Good Vibes crew and chat. Hope everyone is doing well. Well, we hope you are also doing well, and we really appreciate you. Thank you so very much. All right. Well, that's all the super chats for now. So, of course, if any others come in before the end of the show, I will read them out after our patron topics. But right before our patron topics, I do want to shout out a couple of patron birthdays. Noda Naughty is celebrating their birthday tomorrow, August 12th, and Feeling Dreepy is celebrating their birthday the day after on Sunday, August 13th. So happy almost birthday. Yeah, happy birthday weekend to both of you.
Happy birthdays.
I hope you both have a wonderful weekend filled with friends and family and lots of video games and great food. So happy birthday. All right. Now, we have our patron topics for the week. As a reminder, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/GVGaming, where if you support us at the producer tier for just $10 a month, you can suggest topics for us to discuss, just like the ones we're about to get into now. And Daniel, why don't you go ahead and get us started this week, man?
Okay, so we're going to jump into Pokemon for just a little bit longer.
Let's do it.
If we're, I remember we talked about this actually before the stream itself for Pokemon Presents, but Dan Alpha Lion is asking, with another Pokemon Presents come and gone, what existing Pokemon spin-offs would you get hyped for a continuation of? Be it a sequel like New Pokemon Snap, a remake like Mystery Dungeon DX, or something else that still continues that existing spin-off. Alternatively, what new untested spin-offs would you like to see happen at that you would drop anything just to check out? We discussed just a little bit during the pre-show before we actually started the stream, but I know one that I wanted. If we can get a new Pokemon Snap, we can totally get a new Pokemon Puzzle League, can't we? Because
one would hope.
You took the words literally right out of my mouth.
Because that's the only series, is one of the probably the only series in Pokemon that actually takes inspiration right from the anime. It takes place in the animated world with Ash and Pikachu and all of them. And now you could just expand that so much more across so many more regions. You can
make that so long if you wanted to.
There would be so many trainers. There'd be so many different regions you can do. It could be so much more expanded upon. And I know there's other ideas for Panel de Pon that you can also apply to this as well. I've seen things like, and not Panel de Pon, but other games inspired by it. There's like 4-player Panel de Pon if you wanted to have that happening as well. Just other things where you can change the size of the board and just there's a lot you could do with that. There's so much more Pokemon in Generation now. It doesn't have to be Pokemon, honestly. It could just be anything. I just want to see Panel de Pon again, honestly. And if we ever somehow get back to Pokemon Conquest again, just base it around Fire Emblem, and there you go. Nothing was lost or anything. It's just pretty much the same setting, but pair each character with a Pokemon instead. And then that's the money right there.
Have those all from across the series, and why not just mix and match and make no sense? Just these characters are together now. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. And as Goran Amber in our live audience chat says, you could hear Ash going, "I'm gonna win" every 3 seconds again. That's got to be part of it. You can't take the voice clips out of it. You gotta have that in it. Yeah, it's so good. I mean, God, that's what I was going to say, Dan. Well, one of the things I was going to say was Puzzle League. I mean, y'all know I love Panel de Pon as well, and so that's what I would like to see a continuation of. But separately from that, a Pokemon rhythm game. This kind of happened before with Harmonite, because Harmonite came out in the 3DS in 2012, and it had a few extra stages that were Pokemon themes, which was cool. But like, I want a full-on Pokemon rhythm game. Obviously, I'm biased. I love rhythm games, but come on, like, Pokemon music is amazing by and large, and it feels like we should have a game celebrating that. There should be a theater rhythm type game for Pokemon, and I think that would just be so cool and such a slam dunk. And
imagine a theater rhythm like game where you may build a team of 6.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it basically writes itself, the whole concept.
There's music-based Pokemon too, so you could totally work that in as well.
Meloetta can finally get a chance to shine, or freaking Jigglypuff. What am I thinking?
Exactly. Like, the concept is there. You've got 1,000 different potential playable characters, theater rhythm-esque, to choose from, possibly. You've got the evolutions. There's just so much.
You could make your unique rhythm gym leaders or whatever.
Yeah. Oh man. Like you could like literally send. You know how you have your profit cards in theater rhythm? You could build your own like 8 gem leader songs in Elite Four to send to other people as like challenge gauntlets or something. This develops itself. This is such a slam dunk. I want this to happen.
Well, now that the team is done with theater rhythm, they can move on to Pokemon.
Right? I wish. They did express interest in working with Nintendo properties. Obviously, Pokemon is not technically a Nintendo property, but you know what I mean. Unfortunately, I don't think either Nintendo nor Game Freak or the Pokemon Company will ever let that happen. But we can all dream, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I'm with Daniel on. I mean, both of you. New Puzzle League, new Conquest. The rhythm game sounds good, but you know what? We did just get it on NSO, but I still want it because there's so many changes that have come out since that time. Give us another trading card game. Like, I know they have their own like individual games where you just play the card game, but then make it an adventure like that and have those duels, like go around and have like an actual RPG type thing as you build your deck and learn the rules and get introduced to things. That'd be fun. I don't know. It'd be cool to just explore our world and have all these Pokemon duels and give it a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh flair and have the monsters come out or whatever. Or something in there. Just help me learn the card game again, because it's been years and there's all these new rules that I have no idea what the hell they are. So that'd be cool.
I'm so shocked that we haven't gotten another trading card game since Japan got the second game to come out only over there exclusively.
You would have thought that would have continued, but maybe they're just like, maybe this cuts into our card sales. But
there's so many rules. Maybe not. I don't even know exactly how many rules, but there's like a lot of changes ever since the first trading card game. That as you mentioned, it's just a way to get people invested again. And then maybe after playing the game, then they'll go out and actually get the cards. They'll get decks. They'll get people together. They'll be those people on the Pokemon World Championships, and they'll be like, I remember when I played the Pokemon trading card game for Nintendo Switch and all this, and then I was inspired to become a great Pokemon card gamer. It's like when you're Ash watching the people play in the Pokemon League at home. That's what inspired you to become the trading card game champion. So you have your own Ash Ketchum story with this, but
yeah,
maybe one day I want to see it again. Yeah, for sure.
Squire in our live audience chat suggests Pokken 2. That would be nice to see. Pokken was a really interesting game that I was not very good at, but it was still a very interesting game nonetheless.
I was all right at it. I was all right at it.
Yeah, I remember.
That single player sucked. Had the worst.
It was so long.
It was pretty bad. Yeah, I remember. I didn't get very far into it because it was just so grindy and was not very repetitive. Not that I'll get into it, but you know what? There also hasn't been a Pokemon platformer. I mean, I guess Subspace Emissary kind of comes sort of close if you're playing as Pikachu or Lucario or Jigglypuff, but I could see a dedicated Pokemon platformer working. Anyway, that was a great topic. Thank you so much for that, Dad Alpha Lion. And Derrick, you're up next, man.
Mine comes from Squire saying, what do you consider to be one of your luckiest grabs within your collection, be it a game, system, or merchandise? For instance, I myself would have never have nabbed a Smash 4 Meta Knight amiibo were it not for a school cancellation from winter weather and me getting a ticket for 1 in 8 of my store's stock. Blessed by dear mother willing to drive me in less than 15 degree Fahrenheit temperatures with ice on the road. So, that is definitely some dedication there. I thought that was a fun one, just like lucky instances. And the thing is, I'd say honestly one of my luckiest gets, and it's not like a story behind it, just I'm lucky to have it, that I'm lucky I picked it up. Both Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. Like, boy, I'm glad I got into Fire Emblem when I did and decided to pick those games up, because oh my God, you're going to pay out the ass now. That's those decisions early on. Like, there was a while when I had the money where I'd see like certain games come out and be like, that's going to be hard to find in the future. I'm buying that. So I just get them right then and there, because I didn't have a chance to play it, but at least I know I have it for the future in case it gets really rare, especially RPGs. If there was an RPG you were interested in, you needed to get that right away, or else it was gone. It felt like it had a time. So many PS2 RPGs I've missed out on, PS1 ones that I didn't get at the time. Got a few, but not all of them. As far as systems that I feel lucky in, it wasn't me particularly, but I'm lucky that I, worked out for my mom was able to get me a Wii during the height of the craze when it first released, and so I could have it for Christmas. Because she told me the story where she got to the GameStop at a certain time and had to wait, and they didn't know how many they had in stock at the time. They didn't know any of that. They were still waiting for it to sort of arrive so they could figure out how many was there and then go down the line. She was the very last person in line to get it.
Wow.
Like, it was just like, I think she was like 14th in line. So she's like, oh, I don't know, but she happened to get that one, and I got a Wii for Christmas. So it wasn't me personally, but I lucked out in that way. So. Whew.
That's a good one. It's funny, Squire, I have a somewhat, like a relatively similar story really quick. And it's not necessarily like my most treasured thing in my gaming collection, but I was snowed in at a conference in Chicago when the Rosalina and Luma amiibo came out. And I really wanted that because I really love Rosalina as a character. But there was a blizzard going on at the time. And if you know me, I love cold weather.
You went out there in shorts.
To be fair, I was actually in jeans and a t-shirt, but my crazy ass walked to and from a Target that was a mile away in a blizzard to get this thing. And I have no regrets. The amiibo looks great, and I got to be in a blizzard for the first and so far only time in my life, and I loved it. So no regrets there. But to actually answer your question, this is perfectly timed, because I was actually talking about something along these very lines with our patrons and our server earlier today. And so in our general chat in our Discord server, our patron Mach5 Mike posted a picture of their Mega Man X branded GameCube controller. And so I was talking about this with Mike and Hustlebun and 112, and I have that same controller, and it's so rare. They didn't make any, but I'm going to post a picture of it in live audience chat right now, just in case you've never seen it. But they didn't make very many of these things, but it is an official Mega Man X branded GameCube controller. Whoa. Where the start button is in the picture of X's head crystal. It's the coolest thing.
That is good. I feel like I might have seen this before, not in the wild, but just in magazines.
Yeah, it is the most amazing. I think this controller, Derrick, is the one that there's the magazine ad where there are different Mega Man characters commenting on how much they want it. And "Arf, I want one" is attributed to Zero. It's one of the funniest typos I've ever seen. Yeah, I think this is that controller. But yeah, I have one of these. I recently found it in storage, and I'm so glad I still had it. These things go for like a couple of $100 now. Not that I would ever sell it, because it's such a cool collector's item, especially if, like me, your favorite character ever is X. You literally have a controller where his head crystal is the start button. I love this thing, and it reminded me that is one of my most valued prized gaming possessions in my entire collection. So no way I'm selling it, but yeah, that is my answer for this topic. Thank you for that. Anything else you guys want to bring up?
Mine, let's see.
I'm sorry, Dan. You hadn't done yours yet. My fault. Sorry.
Skipping them.
I know. Sorry, man.
I actually have every physical copy of every English release Fire Emblem game physically, from Fire Emblem the Blazing Blade all the way up to Engage now. I don't have all the special editions, but at least I have
Stones. That's my one gap, because I saw reviews like, it's basically the same as Fire Emblem one, and I'm like, I didn't quite finish that one, so I guess I'll skip Sacred Stones. So that's my gap.
Yeah, that's now I kind of want to collect the some of the Japanese ones too. Like, even just trying to get the Binding Blade. Trying to get the Binding Blade is actually kind of expensive, honestly. But yeah, I'm gonna try and see if maybe you'll find it secondhand somewhere at some point. But I guess my as for like consoles, I remember when there was a lot happening around when Majora's Mask 3D was coming out, and you had the special edition for the 3DS itself. This one right here. I was always sad that it was not in purple, that it was in gold instead, because like you don't like purple is like the color for Majora's Mask. But I remember going in to GameStop multiple times to see if they had it on in sale, if it was in stock, if they were if taking people who were ordering it. And there was a time where I came in and they said, "Nah." There were two people there. They said, "Nah, I think we're sold out for now." And then the other guy said, "No, wait, I think we got a shipment like just this morning." And they didn't even put it out yet. And they went back and lo and behold, it was one of these. And that was a fortunate get because kind of the same thing with my Switch. My original 3DS was kind of dying, and the thumb pad was destroying itself because I was playing Smash 3DS too much. It was cracking and falling apart.
Oh, no.
So I was like, I don't know how to replace it. I don't know I don't have the know-how to like open it up and put a new one in. So fortunately that saved me. And yeah, just having that 3DS is, I take that one everywhere. That's my Street Pass 3DS. That's the thing I use for everything now. And yeah, it's just fortunate to have that one. I don't know how common or rare it is now, but I mean, I'm the Majora's Mask guy, so I appreciate having it.
So, I just looked up out of curiosity Binding Blade, and I found this eBay listing that has brand new in box, still shrink wrapped, Binding Blade and Blazing Blade Japanese copies, along with apparently their soundtrack CDs. Their listing is $4,000 basically.
Jesus.
It just a cartridge from Super Potato for like $20.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I need that box. If it was like before they got popular with even just Awakening, it would have been so much cheaper back then. But now it's like, because it's such a big thing now. Oh man.
The used game markets in Japan and the US could not be more different.
To be fair, this is sexy box art, so
it is indeed.
Yeah, look at it.
Immaculate condition.
Yeah.
That box art for the Binding Blade is so good. It's just like an N64 box essentially. Just a little bit smaller.
I do love that. That is some sexy box art. Nice. That's some nice box art. I know I did claim that I would never sell my Mega Man X GameCube controller, but GCM of Chaos posted and said, in our live audience and chat and posted, you sell it and someone gives you the demo to Mega Man Legends 3. That's hard. That's a tough one. Wow. I might have to. That's hard because it's the demo to Legends 3. It's lost. It's a lost treasure.
Will you sell your child for another child?
Basically, yeah. Also, I found the art or the ad that I was talking about, the magazine ad where they're talking about the controller, and I'm posting it in live audience now. But yeah, you got Sigma saying, this controller blew me away, and Dr. Light saying, brilliant, and then Zero saying, arf, I want one. It's one of my...
I think somebody was thinking of the dog from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, I mean, clearly supposed to be Rush, but they probably did make exactly that mistake, Derek. And I love this ad. It's like one of my favorite ads ever. I still remember when I first saw it too. Like when I was reading the magazine, I first saw it, and I'm like, "What happened here?" But yeah, so that was a really fun topic. Thank you so much for that, Squire. And then next up, my topic comes from Colin this week. And my topic is, in light of Stray Gods, the musical that is also an RPG, coming out this week, what are some of your favorite vocal tracks from games? And, I mean, of course, I love talking about video game music, and we haven't really talked about vocal tracks specifically very much, I don't think. So, I mean, name a Final Fantasy, right? My favorite one ever is probably Melodies of Life from FF9, specifically the English version. The Japanese version is beautiful, and I prefer a lot of Japanese version songs for other tracks, but for whatever reason, Melodies of Life hits different for me in English, and so that is probably like my number one favorite vocal theme from a game. Of course, there's the classic Eyes on Me from FF8. There's a super cheesy one that I love, and I don't even, it's not even ironic I love it. I just love it. And that's I Am the Wind from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. It is the cheesiest song, but it's so good though.
Oh
yeah,
God.
That credit song is so cheesy, but I unironically love that song. And then of course, there's TJ Davis, who's sang the entire soundtrack to Sonic R, and just pick a song from that soundtrack. Diamond in the Sky is probably my favorite from that game, but Sonic R's whole soundtrack is a literal treasure. And if you haven't listened to it and you love 90s dance vibes, go listen to it. It's so good. So that's what I got to start us off with. How about you guys? Vocal tracks and games.
I mean, Hustle Bun right on the, like anything from like any Kingdom Hearts opening, Sanctuary, Simple and Clean.
Oh yeah,
those are just like
oh yeah,
bam right there. Honestly, a new favorite of mine, just because it fits they. It's impressive that they took a song that was just sort of made for the base game, and then they somehow found a way to make it reworked and fit so perfectly with the relaunch. And that's Answers from Final Fantasy XIV, the song that plays during that cutscene with Bahamut. That was not made specifically for that cutscene. It was, that song existed since the beginning of 1.0, but man, does it fit well with the choreography of that whole opening of Final Fantasy XIV. God, that's a good one. And honestly, a lot of the vocal songs of the expansions of 14 have some great vocal tracks. But like you said, just Final Fantasy in general. I'm trying to think of others that really stand out. Ray plays games. Yes, Persona 5 vocals. The hard to beat. Really, Persona vocals from 3, 4, and 5. You'll
yeah.
It's hard to beat those. Those are just again those vibe things. World Ends With You. World Ends With You was one of the first soundtracks I got. Yeah, there you go.
Nier Automata, Weight of the World, as Bolt Mouse X just said, Weight of the World is so good. Daniel, you have any in mind, man?
I really like songs from The World Ends With You. They really got you to like expand the different kind of genres of songs I listen to, like Calling from the first game. Bird in the Hand from Neo The World Ends With You is really good. It's probably one of my favorites. It's a lot of like sampled music, but put together. It makes like its own really cool like song put together. Katamori Damacy has a lot of great vocal tracks. Que Sera Sera is so funny. Que Sera Sera is so funny because it's just like it sounds like someone from the like an old timey kind of song singing it, but it's I don't know, it's really funny. That Lonely Rolling Star, I really like
Lonely
those
Rolling
songs.
Star, one of my favorites. Yeah.
Persona has a lot of great tracks, of course, from Persona 5. Persona 5 Royal, No More What Ifs is really great. It's super loungy. I really like that song. I like how Lynn sings it. It's what else? Like Heaven from Persona 4. That always just hits the feels all the time. Kind of a niche one, I guess. Our Moments, which is from Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight, the intro song for Persona 3. That's one of the best songs I've heard in Persona 3. It's a really nice one. And from Persona Q2 has actually a lot of really good vocals as well. That's only in that game. Cinematic Tale is probably one of my favorite songs because it has all the vocalists from Persona 3, 4, and 5.
Is that the opening song?
Yeah, that's one of the songs. I think that one's that's a different song, but it's the one that plays when you're in like the hub. Once you have all the characters together, like as you get more groups together, they add vocalists to each one and so when you have the whole crew, they're all singing this song together, one after another. It's really cool. Just a couple more. Jump Up Superstar is fantastic.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just really fits that vibe for Mario, and just pick like a song from Sonic Adventure or Adventure 2, honestly. Live and Learn.
Crush 40's entire discography. You can't go wrong with any Crush 40 song.
And shout out to Pumpkin Hill, a Ghost Pumpkin Soup.
Hell yeah.
That one. Hell yeah, you mean.
And actually, speaking of rap, this came to my mind while you were talking, and the whole theme of the episode is TMNT. We Ain't Came to Lose from Shredder's Revenge was great. I just wish the boss fight it plays in lasted longer because it's such a cool song.
Right.
And it's actually a rap battle between Shredder and the Turtles, and it's so cool. But the boss fight's over so fast you don't hear the whole thing, in game at least. And that's a great song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Snake Eater.
So many good vocal songs.
As Gamer1288 says, Snake Eater, that's
there's
one of the all-time greats.
What a
when
thrill.
I first think of it, it's like, man, there's not a lot. I can't think of a lot of vocal songs, but then you get into it, it's like, oh crap, there's a lot of vocal songs out there.
Yeah, and one that came to me while you guys were talking as well, that's from one of my favorites from Mega Man. There's a really cheesy J-pop ending theme called IDEA from Mega Man, or Rockman X6, I should say. It's in both. And you know, X6 sucks, but the one thing about that game that's good is the music, and that ending theme is such a fun, cheesy J-pop anthem. It's great. The one last thing I'll say is, Derrick, you mentioned Kingdom Hearts, of course. I agree with you, but I don't know. I know it's an unpopular opinion. Simple and clean, it's amazing, but it's not my favorite. Don't Think Twice is my favorite.
Oh no,
Kingdom Hearts.
Don't think I would agree with that. But I think the issue is we've heard Simple and Clean so often, and the other thing is that you've heard those lyrics so often that I still have like, what the hell is she talking about?
I know. Yeah.
Whose father?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Whose father? What are you talking about? But yeah, Don't Think Twice in particular really dovetails very well with the themes and events of Kingdom Hearts 3. So yeah, that's got to be my favorite. Yeah. So many great ones. The Great Mighty Pooh, says Wataniac. Parappa the Rapper, Chop Chop Onions Rap. Jason says, yeah, we could go on forever. Thank you for this super fun topic. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. And yeah, Colin, seriously, thank you. And that is it for our Patreon topic for the week. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and read out the rest of the super chats that have come in, and then we will move on to our Patreon exclusive post show. So first off, we've got Disney Duncan back with $2 more. Thank you so much. Saying one Smash amiibo left. I believe it's coming. I want to believe it's coming.
It's coming.
We'll see.
You think? I think we would have heard about it right now.
Who knows?
I kind of don't think so. I want it to.
They gave the rights to like 4 different companies to make Sora a brand, a figure. They can't get it for Nintendo.
They can get away with having an amiibo for every form of Sora in that game, and people would buy it. We'd all buy it. Let's be honest.
Oh, they could do every variant. I'd buy every variant. I want I want there to be an amiibo of every version of Sora in Smash, but yeah, I feel like the ship has sailed, but maybe I should say the gummy ship has sailed, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe there's still a chance, and I'm crossing my fingers.
They can't have me buy every single Smash amiibo up to this point, except for like one, and then not give me Sora at the very end. You can't just do that.
Right? Nintendo, are you watching? You can't do that to Daniel. How could you possibly do that to Daniel? So you gotta make it happen.
I have all of them except for one leading up to Sora, and I need to have it all. One day when I move somewhere, they're all going to be... I already have a shelf for it. It's like those little... where you put those little tape cassettes. It's perfect for the amiibo size. When that's done, I'm going to put it up somewhere, and everyone's going to see how much of a shill I am for amiibo.
I love it.
Yeah.
I really hope it happens, Duncan. And speaking of you, Duncan, you had one more super chat for $5. Thank you so much. Saying, I don't care about the price. I'm getting Red Dead on Switch because it's my favorite console, especially if it was my only one. Hey,
no worries.
Fair point. Fair point. And hopefully
it's
a good
us arguing against it, just saying us personally.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then our good friend Cutie Caitlin with $5. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Asking, help, what's for dinner? I keep forgetting to order food. I need to get delivery. And my question to you, Caitlin, is really, we're doing a TMNT themed episode, and you got to ask what you got to order for dinner? It's obviously pizza. This is a pizza night. This whole GVGcast is about the TMNT.
It's
the thumbnail.
Pizza time.
You can go for one of Michelangelo's weird toppings to get hot fudge and anchovies.
Perfect, but either way, get a pizza. It's TMNT day.
You can put chili on pizza. I'm pretty sure he did that. So there you go. Put chili on pizza.
Yeah. You can put. I mean, as we know, our good buddy Steve loves his pineapples on pizza, doesn't he?
I do too.
No, I actually do. He hates them. I love pineapples on pizza. He can't stand them.
He's wrong.
Yeah. Danny, where do you fall in that debate?
We've gone through this before. I
think we have,
but
yeah.
We probably have.
I wouldn't put pineapples on my pizza.
All right, we're 2 and 2 split then. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, and then finally we've got a $10 super chat that just came in from BlazeStar25. Thank you so much. Asking or saying, I remember when Fire Emblem Echoes came out, I was unable to get a collector's edition. On launch day, I went to GameStop and asked just in case if they had a collector's edition. They had one left, and I got it.
Nice.
That is awesome. That's a great story. Glad you were able to get it.
I didn't get those ones. Yeah, I've rarely gotten the Fire Emblem special editions. I have the one for Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light here, even though it was just a digital code. I still have the physical thing of it and engages.
I was very, very, very fortunate that Nintendo sent me the special edition of Fire Emblem Fates that includes everything.
Oh, they sent it to you. Oh man,
yeah, they sent it to me.
That's awesome.
There was you never knew whether you're going to get a code or actually get them send the actual physical cartridge to you, but no, they gave me the complete version, and so I have all 3 versions of Fates on that disc, on that cartridge.
So Nintendo, whenever you decide to release a Genealogy of the Holy War remake, Daniel here is a big fan of Fire Emblem. He'll make any video you want of this game if you want to send him a copy, a physical copy, by the way. Just so you know.
Yeah,
I was actually lucky enough to get the same, Derrick, because I did a feature for GameSpot with Fire Emblem Fates, and so they sent me the full physical of all.
That's worth a pretty penny.
Yeah, sure is. I still have it in storage somewhere, so I don't know, but I appreciate having that in my collection. So I don't think I'd sell it. But yeah, well, thank you as always, everybody, for all the generous super chats, for the really cool topics from our patrons. We love you and appreciate you so much. But that does bring us to the end of episode 69 of the GVGcast, and I will say it once more with emphasis: nice. We, of course, are going to go to our patron-exclusive post show, but not before we give a special shout-out to all of our patrons at the producer tier and above for helping to make everything we do here happen. Seriously, thank you. We could not keep the lights on without all of you. Thank you. And as always, we have to give an extra special shout-out to all of our patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those fine, amazing, incredible folks include Brandon Bovia, Cutie Caitlin, Fangs, Z Patty, Just Brian, Sky Blue Flames, Eastman23, Adam O'Sullivan, Richard Herrera, Logan Daniel, The D-Pad, Vesmio, Blake, Critter XD, Joy Content, Angel Martinez, Vedran, Joshua Hunter, Benny Yao, Azran127, Black King, Joseph Rutkin, Geeky Griffin, Lucky Wonderfish, Wataniac, Top Dog 23100, Young Ben Kenobi, Doug Showmix, Andrew Medeiros, Brady Power, Darchi, Becca, Killamox, Sean Davis, Michael McCaw, Matthew Wong, Goran Amber CPHT, Too Much Spaghetti, Bane 400, Ascaron 809, Ryaner, Rain and Clouds, The Game Orb, Super Gamer Dude 101, Grantles, Ravelox, Rosa Pardo Bowling, Hi Steve's Mom, Skull Kid Tiger, Darksteel 01, Jason Uloa, Jaden Buck, Cystic Warrior 29, DJ Jurassic, Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy, Derrick, Colin, Blaystar 25, Mumbling Yeti, Cameron Sharp, Keel, Moon Knight, Brendan Hesse, Hustlebund, Noah Fitterer, Calvin Atkinson, Brainchild, the entire state of Wisconsin, Jim Wakeland, Longboy Shiggy, Aramis Baramis, Dylan, Kyle the Monarch, Dad Alpha Lion, Lord Metarex, Blaze Collard, Eric, Cat EV Person 5, Peyton Thiel, Mega Beatman True Blue Reviews, Jung Ant, Ryan Hanley, Somnia, The Game Jamie, and last but certainly not least, Danny Walsh. Wow, thank you all so much. We really do appreciate you. Can't say it enough. With that said, we are off to our patron-exclusive post show. Have a great night, everybody, and good vibes. Bye.
Bye.
Till we meet again.